The fluorescent lights of Lincoln High's gym buzzed like angry hornets as David slammed his locker shut, the echo swallowed by the roar of laughter from the far end of the row. "Faggot transfers got a fairy tale crush," a voice sneered, and before he could turn, the first shove sent him sprawling across the cold tile floor, his backpack spilling books like spilled secrets. In that split second, as the circle of jocks closed in, David tasted blood from a split lip and the metallic tang of fear, but beneath it, a fire ignited, one that whispered he wasn't breaking tonight. David wiped the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand, staring up at the ring of faces that loomed like storm clouds over the Midwest plains. It was his third week at Lincoln High in Dayton, Ohio, and already the whispers had turned to shouts, the glances to fists. He'd moved here from Seattle after his parents' messy divorce. Mom chasing a fresh start in the heartland, Dad vanishing into the haze of West Coast regret. Seattle had been tolerant in its rainy indifference. Dayton was a pressure cooker of plaid flannel and Friday night lights, where different was a curse word wrapped in a football jersey. The leader of the pack was Ryan Caldwell, All-American Golden Boy with a jawline sharp enough to cut glass and shoulders broad from years of dominating the court. Ryan's hazel eyes, usually sparkling with that effortless charm that made teachers overlook his tardies, now glinted with something darker. Contempt, maybe, or the thrill of the hunt. "Welcome to the jungle, pretty boy," Ryan drawled, his voice low and laced with that Ohio drawl that turned vowels into taunts. He wasn't the one who'd shoved David, but he didn't stop it either. He just stood there, arms crossed over his varsity jacket, the king overseeing his court gestures. David pushed himself up, ignoring the sting in his palms from the grit on the floor. At 17, he was wiry, all lean muscle from pickup games back home, with dark curls that fell into his eyes like a shield. He'd always known he was gay. First crush on the lifeguard at 12. First kiss stolen in a high school bathroom at 15. But coming out in Seattle had been a quiet rebellion, met with shrugs and eye rolls. Here, it was war. The rumor mill had churned it up on day one. The new kid from the liberal coast, the one who stared too long at the swim team posters. "Touch me again," David said, his voice steady despite the tremor in his knees. "And I'll make sure Coach sees the video." He didn't have a video, but the bluff hung in the air like smoke from a backfired engine. The circle shifted. Uneasy, Ryan's crew wasn't used to pushback. One kid, a lanky sophomore named Tyler, snorted but stepped back. Ryan just tilted his head, appraising David like he was sizing up an opponent on the court. "Big talk for a bench warmer," Ryan shot back, but there was a flicker in his eyes. Curiosity, maybe, or the first crack in the facade. He jerked his chin, and the group dispersed like smoke, leaving David to gather his scattered notebooks, biology, English lit, and that dog-eared copy of The Perks of Being a Wallflower that now had a footprint on its cover. By the time David made it to the bleachers that afternoon for open gym, the adrenaline had curdled into something heavier: isolation. The gym smelled of rubber and sweat, the squeak of sneakers on polished wood, a symphony of belonging he wasn't part of. He sat high up, knees drawn to his chest, watching Ryan and his crew run drills. Ryan moved like liquid fire, crossover dribble, hesitation, pull up, nothing but net. The ball was an extension of him, arcing through the air with physics-defying grace. David had played ball too, point guard for his old school's JV squad, but here he was invisible, a ghost in the machine. Coach Harlan, a grizzled vet with a whistle around his neck like a noose, barked orders from the sideline. "Caldwell, you're slacking. Pick it up." Ryan grinned, flashing that megawatt smile that probably melted hearts in the hallways, and David hated how it twisted something in his gut. Not hate, exactly envy, laced with a dangerous spark of want. Ryan was everything David wasn't. Untouchable, adored, the straight-A jock who volunteered at the food bank on weekends and quoted Springsteen lyrics in his yearbook quote. If only Ryan knew how deep the knife went, how every fag hurled like a fastball chipped away at the armor David had built. As practice wound down, Ryan lingered, shooting free throws alone under the hoop. The gym emptied, echoes fading, until it was just the two of them and the hum of the lights. David meant to slip out unnoticed, but his sneaker caught on a loose board, the thud betraying him. Ryan's head snapped up, ball frozen mid-spin on his finger. "You spying?" "Wallace," Ryan called, using David's last name like a weapon. David froze, then straightened, chin up. "Just leaving," he replied, voice echoing too loud in the vast space. Ryan bounced the ball once, twice, eyes narrowing. "You play." David hesitated. Admitting it felt like handing over ammo. "Yeah. Used to. Get down here." It wasn't a question. David descended the bleachers, each step a dare. Ryan tossed him the ball, leather warm from his palms. "Show me." The first dribble felt like coming home, low and controlled, weaving between his legs. Ryan watched, arms crossed, that same appraising look from the locker room. David faked left, drove right, elevated for the jumper. Swish. Ryan's eyebrows shot up, a ghost of a smile tugging at his lips. "Not bad," Ryan said, retrieving the ball. "For a fairy." The word landed like a slap, but David caught the ball. Ryan fired back. Harder this time. "Call me that again, and we'll see who's on their ass." Ryan laughed. A real one, bark of surprise, and for a moment, the gym wasn't a battlefield. They ran ones, David matching Ryan's speed, anticipating his drives. Sweat beaded on David's forehead, mixing with the salt of earlier tears he hadn't shed. Ryan was relentless, trash-talking with that easy charisma. "Come on, Seattle, you gonna let me posterize you?" But underneath, there was respect blooming, fragile as new grass. By the time coach's keys jingled at the door, they were breathless, shirts clinging, the score tied at 21. "Lock up, boys," coach grunted, eyeing them curiously before vanishing. Ryan wiped his face with his jersey hem, exposing a trail of abs that made David's throat dry. "You're not half bad, Wallace. Try out next week." David nodded, pulse hammering not just from the game. "Yeah. Maybe." As Ryan shouldered his bag and strode out, David lingered, ball under his arm. For the first time since Dayton, he felt seen not as the gay kid, the outsider, but as a player. Contender. But as the door swung shut behind Ryan, David wondered if the court was big enough for both their secrets. The weeks blurred into a rhythm of bruises and breakthroughs. Bullies like Tyler backed off after coach announced open tryouts, but Ryan's crew still lobbed slurs like lobs. Subtle now, testing. David ignored them, channeling the rage into suicides on the driveway court at home, the hoop rattling under his fury. Mom noticed the split lip fading into a yellow bruise, the way he flinched at loud voices. "School's fine," he'd lie, forcing a smile over microwave dinners of mac and cheese. Tryouts hit like a Ohio thunderstorm, relentless, unforgiving. The gym thrummed with nervous energy, underclassmen eyeing seniors like prey. David arrived early, lacing his Nikes with hands that shook only a little. Ryan was already there, dominating warm-ups, his laugh cutting through the din as he high-fived teammates. When coach called David's name for the first drill, fast break relays, Ryan shot him a nod, almost imperceptible. David exploded off the line, stealing passes, feeding outlets with pinpoint precision. By the scrimmage, sweat poured, and David was in the zone. Crossover, hesitation, dish to the big man for the flush. The whistle blew, and coach's gravelly voice rang out, "Wallace, you're in second string, but push Caldwell here. He needs the fire." Ryan's grin was wolfish as they lined up for water. "Told you. Now don't embarrass me out there." David met his gaze, something electric passing between them. Wouldn't dream of it. Varsity practices became David's crucible. Ryan was the sun, everyone orbiting his gravity, captain, MVP, the guy who organized post-game bonfires where beer flowed and girls giggled. David was the shadow, quiet in the huddle, explosive on the floor. They clicked in ways that defied the locker room tension. Pick and rolls executed with telepathic sync. Ryan's drives cleared by David's screens. Off the court, though, the chasm yawned. Ryan's jokes veered too close. "Hey, Wallace, you batting for the other team in the dating game?" And David's retorts sharpened, hiding the ache of unspoken truths. One Friday after a grueling win against rival Central, the team piled into Ryan's beat-up Ford F-150 for the ritual drive-through burgers. David squeezed into the bed with Tyler and the others, wind whipping as Ryan blasted Luke Bryan from the cab. At the bonfire later, flames leaping like accusations, beer cans cracked open under starry skies. David nursed a soda, perched on a log, the orange glow painting faces in hellish light. Ryan dropped beside him, reeking of axe and victory sweat. "You killed it tonight, man. That steel, poetry." David's heart stuttered. "Team effort. Nah. You got heart." Ryan's knee brushed his. Accidental maybe, but the contact lingered. Their eyes locked, and in that fire-lit moment, David saw it, the flicker of doubt in Ryan's hazel depths, the same vulnerability David buried deep. "You ever feel like you're faking it? Like everyone's watching, waiting for you to slip?" David swallowed, the confession teetering on his tongue. "Every damn day." Ryan nodded, slow, then clapped David's shoulder hard, brotherly, and stood. "Don't let 'em win, Wallace." He melted back into the crowd, leaving David with the echo of warmth on his skin and a question burning brighter than the fire. What if Ryan saw him, really saw him? But secrets in small-town Ohio fester like untreated wounds. The next Monday, whispers slithered through the halls. Someone had seen David at the Dayton Pride rally over the weekend, holding a sign with Mom. By lunch, the cafeteria was a minefield. Tyler accidentally spilled tray slop on David's shirt. Others chanted fruitcake under their breaths. David bolted to the bathroom, retching into the sink, the mirror reflecting a boy unraveling. Ryan found him there, leaning against the stall. "Dude, what the hell? It's just lunch." David laughed, bitter. "Just lunch. Right? Like it's just words." Ryan's face hardened. "Grow a pair, Wallace. It's high school." The slap of the door as Ryan left echoed louder than any jeer. That night, David texted his old Seattle friend, "Jax, feels like drowning." Jax's reply, "Swim harder. You're tougher than this." Practice was hell. Ryan barked orders, his passes laser-sharp but laced with venom. David matched him, fury fueling his game blocks, steals, a dunk that silenced the gym. Coach whistled them over post-drill. You two fight like cats in a sack. Channel it, or you're both benched. In the showers, steam thick as regret, David stripped down, avoiding eyes. Ryan's gaze lingered too long, then snapped away. The tension coiled tighter, a spring ready to snap. The turning point came mid-season, during a road trip to Toledo. The bus rumbled through cornfields under sodium lamps, the team rowdy with card games and hip-hop blaring from earbuds. David sat alone, scrolling playlists, hosier, for the ache. Ryan slid into the seat across the aisle, hoodie pulled low. Truce, Ryan murmured, voice barely audible over the engine's growl. David glanced up, wary. For what? For being an ass. Ryan rubbed his neck, boyish suddenly. Look, I know what they're saying. About you. It's bullshit. David's chest tightened. You believe that? Ryan leaned closer, breath warm. I believe you're the best point I've played with. Rest. Noise. The words hung. A lifeline. David nodded, throat thick. Thanks. That night in the motel, rooms divvied by coin flip, David bunked with Ryan. The space was cramped, twin beds inches apart, the AC humming like a judgmental ant. They talked late, Ryan confessing his dad's belt marks from Little League losses, the pressure of being the Caldwell kid in a town that bet on legacies. David shared Seattle rains and the night he came out to Mom, her hug fierce as a storm. Ryan's hand found his in the dark, tentative. You're brave, man. Braver than me. David's pulse thundered. Their fingers laced, a spark jumping the gap. When Ryan's lips brushed his soft, questioning, David melted, the kiss deepening like a dive into unknown waters. It was clumsy, urgent, tasting of stolen mints and unspoken fears. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. This changes everything, Ryan whispered, terror and thrill warring in his voice. David cupped his face. Or nothing. If we want. But Ohio wasn't Seattle. Dawn brought awkward silences, stolen glances in the diner. Back home, the high faded fast. Ryan pulled back, texts unanswered, passes fumbled in practice. David cornered him in the equipment room, the air thick with rubber mats and defeat. What's wrong? David demanded, voice cracking. Ryan's eyes darted. This. It's not. Tyler saw us on the bus. Said stuff. David's world tilted. So what? Let him talk. Ryan's laugh was hollow. Easy for you. You're out. I'm not ready. My dad. Your dad. David's voice rose, betrayal bitter. Or you just chicken? Ryan flinched. Screw you. Wallace. He shoved past, leaving David amid tangled nets. The sting worse than any fist. The bullying reignited. Fiercer now, lockers jammed with hate notes, sneakers tripped in halls. David played through it, his game a blaze of defiance. But the fire consumed him. Mom found him crying in his room one night, the dam breaking. I like him, Mom. And he threw me away. She held him, fierce. Then rise above, baby. Show them your heart's unbreakable. The sectional playoffs loomed, Lincoln's shot at state. David trained till his hands blistered, visualizing the court as his confessional. Ryan avoided him, but on the floor, their chemistry crackled. Unspoken, electric. Coach sensed it, pairing them in drills. You boys got magic. Don't waste it. Game night against arch-rival Hamilton. Arena packed, air electric with popcorn and tension. David started, heart pounding. Ryan's pre-tip nod was curt, but his eyes pleaded. Tip off, and chaos erupted, David weaving through picks, feeding Ryan for the thunderous dunk. Crowd roared, but midway, the wheels wobbled. Hamilton's enforcer, a brute named Kowalski, targeted David, elbow to the ribs, knee to the thigh. Stay down, queer, he hissed on a fast break. David crumpled, pain lancing hot. Whistles blew, but the ref missed the malice. Ryan skidded to a halt, hauling him up. You good? David nodded, fire in his veins. Finish it. They did. Ryan's game winner, a buzzer beater off David's dime, the net swishing like vindication. Locker room erupted, but Ryan's high five lingered, thumb brushing knuckles. We make a hell of a team. David searched his face. Off the court too, Ryan's swallow was audible. Working on it. The victory high crashed hard the next day. School buzzed with highlights on every phone. Ryan's dunk looping endlessly, David's assist the unsung hero. But in the undercurrent, the venom flowed. Anonymous texts pinged David's phone. Fairy's got a boyfriend? Team Ryan. He deleted them, but the poison seeped. At lunch, Tyler cornered him by the vending machines, breath sour with energy drink. Heard you two got cozy on that bus? Tyler leered, close enough for David to smell the cheap cologne. Ryan slumming it? David's fist clenched, knuckles white. Mind your business. Tyler laughed, shoving David's shoulder. Whole school's business now. Better watch your back, or your ass. The bell rang, saving further escalation, but the seed was planted. David skipped last period, hiding in the library stacks, inhaling the musty comfort of forgotten tomes. He texted Mom, "Pick me up early?" Her reply was instant, "On my way. Love you more." Home was a sanctuary of sorts. Modest ranch house on a cul-de-sac lined with sagging chain-link fences, the kind of blue-collar suburb where dads grilled brats on rusted Weber kettles and moms swapped Tupperware at block parties. Mom worked doubles at the hospital, her scrubs still crisp when she pulled into the lot. Over herbal tea at the Formica table, David spilled it all, the kiss, the pullback, the renewed hate. Her eyes, the same stormy gray as his, softened. Oh, honey. First love's a beast. But you don't chase shadows. You shine. Let them blind themselves. David hugged her tight, inhaling lavender and resolve. What if I can't? You will. Like on that court. Unstoppable. That night, he laced up for his driveway ritual, the portable hoop creaking under moonlit lobs. Dribbles echoed like heartbeats, each bounce a rebuttal. Across the street, porch lights flickered on, neighbors settling into Netflix and denial. David imagined Ryan there, in his own McMansion with the perfect family facade, wrestling ghosts. Practice the next day was a powder keg. Coach ran them ragged, suicide sprints till lungs burned, shell drills till legs quaked. Ryan shone, but his shots clanged off rims, frustration etching lines around his mouth. David fed him perfect looks, but Ryan airballed a wide-open three, cursing under his breath. Post whistle. In the shadowed corner by the water cooler, Ryan grabbed David's arm. We gotta talk. David yanked free, voice low. Now you want to? Ryan's jaw ticked. Not here. After. The after was the empty field behind the school. Goldenrod waving in the November chill. The air crisp with fallen leaves and wood smoke from distant chimneys. Ryan paced, hands jammed in his pockets, while David leaned against the chain-link fence, arms crossed like armor. I freaked. Okay? Ryan started, eyes on the ground. Tyler's been in my ear, says it'll ruin everything. Dad's already on me about scouts. College. If this gets out. David's laugh was sharp. This? You mean us? Ryan winced. Yeah. Us. He stepped closer, breath fogging between them. I like you, David. More than like. But I'm scared shitless. David's resolve cracked, the vulnerability in Ryan's voice a mirror to his own. Me too. But hiding? It's killing me. Ryan closed the gap, hands framing David's face, thumbs tracing jawlines. The kiss was slower this time, deliberate, a promise amid the ruins. David's fingers tangled in Ryan's hair, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to the heat of mouths and the rustle of wind. They broke apart flushed, foreheads touching. No more running, Ryan murmured. We'll figure it. David nodded, hope fragile as frost. Together, for a stolen week, it was bliss wrapped in secrecy. Stolen moments in the equipment room, fingers interlaced under jerseys, whispers against collarbones. Late-night drives in Ryan's truck, parking at the quarry's edge, stars sprawling like spilled diamonds over the scarred earth. They talked dreams. Ryan to Ohio State on scholarship, David to NYU for film, capturing stories the heartland ignored. Sex came tentative, exploratory, hands mapping uncharted territories in the truck's cab, breaths hitching in the dark. Ryan's touch was reverent, apologies in every caress for the hurts inflicted. You're beautiful, Ryan breathed once, tracing David's collarbone after, the words a bomb. David arched into it, whispering back, so are you, but paradise in Eden had its serpent. Tyler, ever the weasel, sniffed opportunity. He tailed Ryan one evening, snapping blurry pics through the quarry fence. Silhouettes entwined, unmistakable. By Monday, the images circulated like contraband, Snapchat ghosts that vanished but scarred eternal. The backlash hit tsunami force. Lockers vandalized with slurs in Sharpie. Caldwell's cum dump scrawled on David's stall. Girls who'd flirted with Ryan now whispered pervert in halls. Coach pulled Ryan aside after film session. Door closed too long, emerging with a face like thunder. David waited by the bleachers, gut churning. What did he say? Ryan's eyes were red-rimmed. To keep my head down. Focus on ball. But Tyler. He told my dad. David's blood iced. And, Ryan laughed. Broken. Dad flipped. Called it a phase. A distraction. Said if I don't end it, no more truck. No more team. David reached for him, but Ryan stepped back. Ryan, I can't lose everything. The words were a gut punch. Ryan's shoulders slumped, defeat etching him old. I'm sorry. He walked away, leaving David in the echoing gym, the weight of betrayal crushing like a missed layup. That night, David didn't cry, he raged. Fists into pillows, screams muffled into blankets. Mom found the phone shattered on the floor, pieces like his heart. Call the school, she urged at breakfast, eyes fierce over coffee steam. David shook his head. Won't change him, But it changed something in David. He channeled the fracture into fuel, practices becoming vendettas. On the court, he was a demon, steals like vengeful spirits, shots arcing true as arrows. Ryan faltered, passes telegraphed, his game unraveling thread by thread. The team suffered, losses piling like snowdrifts. The district semis against Vandalia loomed, a must-win or bust. Pre-game huddle, coach's eyes bored into them. Caldwell, Wallace, you're the engine. Fix it, or we're done. Ryan nodded, avoiding David's gaze. David stared straight ahead, resolve steel. Game time. The Coliseum in Dayton pulsed with 5,000 souls, banners waving like war flags. David started hot, triple-double threat, dishing dimes that Ryan converted mechanically. Halftime, by 8, but locker room crackled. Tyler smirked from the bench. Hope you're not distracted. Cap. Ryan's fist clenched, but David beat him to it. Shut your hole, Tyler. Or I'll shut it for you. The room stilled, coach's whistle piercing. Save it for them. Second half. Vandalia clawed back, their press suffocating. David danced through it, but a screen gone wrong left him open. Kowalski again, charging like a bull, shoulder to David's chest. Air whooshed out, ribs cracking audibly as he hit the deck. The arena spun, pain blooming black. Whistles shrieked, medics swarmed. Ryan knelt beside him, face ashen. David, shit. Say something. David gasped, vision blurring. Finish. The game. They carted him off to thunderous concern. Mom rushing from the stands, her face a mask of maternal fury. X-rays confirmed. 2 cracked ribs. Out for the season. From the ER bed, for dripping, David watched the feed. Ryan, galvanized, carrying the load. Buzzer beater again. Victory snatched from jaws. Post-game interview. Mike thrust at Ryan. For Wallace. He showed us heart. David's phone buzzed. Ryan. I'm coming. Wait. But when Ryan burst in, scrubs-clad and wild-eyed, the words tumbled wrong. God. David. Save it. David's voice was rasped from pain meds. You chose. Ryan's face crumpled. I know. Stupid. But seeing you down. It hit me. I can't do this without you. Mom cleared her throat discreetly, excusing herself. Ryan sat, taking David's hand. Dad's pissed. But screw him. Tyler's off the team. Coach benched him for the leak. I told everyone. About us. David's breath hitched. You what? Ryan's grin was shaky. Out and proud. Or at least, out. The kiss was hospital sterile but soul deep, sealing fractures. Mom returned with coffee, eyebrow arched. Progress. David laughed, wincing. Yeah. Recovery was a grind, weeks of ice packs and PT. Mom's chicken soup a staple. Ryan visited daily, smuggling contraband candy, studying bio by David's bedside. Texts from teammates trickled in. Apologies, invitations. The team won districts without him, Ryan dedicating each bucket. But betrayal's shadow lingered. One night, Ryan confessed over pizza on the couch. Dad's ultimatum. The family dinner where slurs flew like plates. He's coming around. Slow. But he saw the interview. David squeezed his hand. Proud of you. Spring brought thaw. David returned to light drills, ribs knitting like mended fences. The team's run to regionals was electric. the community rallying around the unbreakable duo. Of course, they navigated minefields, PFLAG meetings in Dayton, first handholds in crowded malls, the thrill of normalcy. Yet climax brewed in the regional final against powerhouse Cincinnati West. Arena electric, stakes sky high. David, cleared but rusty, begged in. Coach relented. 10 minutes. Smart plays, tip-off, and fire reignited. Ryan's eyes met his across the jump circle. We got this. David subbed in third quarter, trailing by 12. The crowd hushed as he checked in, then erupted. First touch. Steal from their star. Outlet to Ryan for the slam. Momentum shifted. Tide turning. But West fought dirty hacks. Travels ignored. With 2 minutes left. Tied. David drove baseline. Kowalski boxing out vicious. Elbow caught his temple. Stars exploding. He staggered. Blood sheeting from a gash. No call. Ryan fouled out, charging the ref. Ejected in fury. Bench cleared. Chaos. David waved off stitches. Subbing back with gauze blooming red. One play, he mouthed to Ryan from the sideline. Inbound. David curls off a screen. Catches. Rises. Kowalski contests. Hands flailing. Foul. But the shot drops clean. Free throw swish. Crowd delirious. Lincoln up 3 with seconds ticking. West's Hail Mary heave clanks. Buzzer wails. Regionals theirs. David collapses into Ryan's arms amid the dogpile. Blood and sweat mingling. The kiss salt-kissed and triumphant. The regional win catapults Lincoln High into legend status. The local news dubbing them the Heartbreak Healers in breathless segments that air on every channel from Cincinnati to Columbus. Banners unfurl in the hallways overnight. Crimson and gold streamers twisting like victory vines. And for the first time, David's name shares equal billing with Ryan's on the hype posters. Caldwell and Wallace. Unbreakable. The surreal. This sudden spotlight. Like stepping from fog into floodlights. And David navigates it with a mix of wariness and wonder. Mom frames a clipping on the fridge. Her smile brighter than the Ohio sun peeking through spring clouds. My boy's a star, but stardom in Dayton comes with strings. Expectations knotted tight as cleats before a big game. Reporters linger post-practice. Mics thrust like swords. Probing for the story behind the story. Ryan fields most. His charm a shield. David's the glue. Man. Without him, we're just noise. David nods. Camera shy. But inside, the validation blooms warm. A counter to the scars fading on his ribs. Off the court, their rhythm solidifies into something achingly real. Weekends mean quarry sunsets. Ryan's truck bed layered with quilts stolen from his mom's linen closet, where they lie tangled, trading dreams under the vast Midwest sky. Ryan's fingers trace lazy patterns on David's chest, voice soft against the chirp of crickets. State finals in Columbus. Think we can pull it off? David turns, lips brushing Ryan's temple. With you? Anything. Sex evolves too. From fumbling urgency to unhurried exploration. Lazy mornings in David's empty house when mom pulls overtime. Ryan's mouth charting paths that leave them both wrecked and whole. I love you, Ryan whispers the first time. Post-climax haze. The words slipping out like a fumbled pass. David's heart stutters, then soars. Love you back. It's terrifying, exhilarating, this tether in a world still sharpening its knives. School's a tighter rope. The coming out ripple effects. Allies emerge from woodwork, art club kids with rainbow pins, the quiet librarian slipping him Giovanni's room. Bullies scatter like roaches to dawn. Tyler slinks through halls, benched indefinitely, his Instagram scrubbed of venom. But not all wounds heal clean. Ryan's dad, Tom Caldwell, beer gut and buzzcut, a GM at the auto plant, grunts monosyllables at dinner, eyes avoiding Ryan's. Focus on ball, son. Rest'll sort. Ryan bristles, but David counsels patience. He'll come around. Or he won't. But you're enough. Mom's the rock. Hosting team dinners that blur lines, Ryan chopping onions for chili, David setting the table, laughter filling the cramped kitchen like steam from the pot. She corners Ryan one night over dishes. Hurt him, and I'll re-break those ribs myself. Ryan chuckles. Earnest? Never. Her nod seals it. Family. Unofficial but ironclad. State finals approach like a freight train, the air in Dayton thickening with anticipation. Practices intensify. Coach Harlan a drill sergeant in polos. Westlake's got size, speed, but you got soul. Scrimmages pit starters against reserves. David and Ryan a blur of motion. Their pick and roll a poetry of trust. Post-drill cooldowns. They stretch side by side, calves burning, sharing water bottles and sidelong smiles that say we're in this. The betrayal brews subtle. A storm cloud on the horizon no one heeds. It starts with anonymous emails to the athletic director. Grainy pics from the quarry. Timestamps damning. Unfit leadership. The sender rails. CCing boosters and the school board. Coach dismisses it as jealous noise. But Ryan tenses. Old fears resurfacing. What if they pull me? David cups his face in the empty gym. Echoes of dribbles long faded. They won't. We're bulletproof. Fame amplifies the fractures. A local blogger, pen name Buckeye Truth, runs a hit piece. Lincoln's gay golden couple. Distraction or dynasty? Comments flood. Heart emojis from coasts. Slurs from heartland trolls. Ryan scrolls obsessively. Jaw tight. David deletes the app. Drags him to the arcade instead. Pac-Man beeps drowning doubt. The night before departure for Columbus. They steal away to the riverfront. The great Miami churning dark under sodium glows. Fireworks from a distant festival pop like celebratory gunfire. Ryan's head on David's shoulder. Voice muffled. Scared I'll let you down. David tilts his chin up. Kiss firm. Only if you quit on us. Bust a state. The team hyped. Playlists thumping Kendrick and classic rock. Energy bars passed like communion. David and Ryan claim rear seats. Knees knocking. Hands hidden but linked. Whispers circulate. Good luck charms. Inside jokes, but the undercurrent hums. This is their shot at immortality. Columbus's nationwide arena looms massive. A colossus of steel and glass. 18,000 seats hungry for glory. Pre-game shoot-around. Media swarms. Flashes popping like paparazzi at a premiere. David nails jumpers. The leather whispering through net. But his eyes scan for threats. Westlake's roster a wall of Division I recruits. Their coach a clipboard tyrant known for psych-outs. Locker room ritual. Tape ankles. Share war stories. Coach's pep talk a gravel sermon on grit. This ain't just a game. It's your legacy. Ryan stands. Voice steady. For Dayton. For us. Eyes meet David's. Steel in the hazel. For you. Tip off. The roar engulfs. A living beast. David guards their quick point. Feet light as lies. First quarter. It's chess. Westlake probes. Lincoln counters. Score knotted at 18. Ryan's mid-range game surgical. David's assists threading needles. Halftime. 2. Sweat slick and surging. Third quarter cracks open the drama. Westlake star, a 6'7" forward named Ellis, posters Ryan on a breakaway dunk, the rim rattling like judgment. Crowd gasps. Momentum swings. Ellis taunts, leaning in on dead ball. Heard your boyfriend's soft. Like your D. Ryan shoves. Tech called. Bench erupting. David pulls him aside at timeout. Hands on shoulders. Eyes on the prize. He's baiting. Ryan nods. Fire banked. Got it. They claw back. David's three splashing from the wing. Ryan's block sending Ellis sprawling. But with 5 minutes left, down for, the roof caves. Ellis drives. David rotates, too slow. The kick-out three berries. Ellis flexing for cameras. Score stretches to 8. Coach signals the press. Desperate. All in. David at the helm. Stealing inbounds. Outlet to Ryan. And one layup. The arena pulses. Hope flickering. 2 minutes. David isolates. Crossover freezes his man. Pull-up rims out. Offensive board. Tip to Ryan. Foul. And one again. Tied. 30 seconds. Westlake ball. Ellis rises for the jumper. David contests. Tip blocked into the stands. Timeout. Huddle fevered. Run the play. Trust. Inbound to David. Clock ticking. 10.9. He weaves. Double team collapsing. Dish to Ryan. Wide open corner, but Tyler. No. Wait, the ghost of betrayal whispers doubt. Ryan hesitates a beat too long. Shot bricks off the iron. Rebound scramble. Ellis tips to teammate. Fast break. David sprints back. Lungs searing. Fouling desperately. 2 free throws swish. Down 2. For 0.3 seconds. Final play. Isolation for Ryan. Screen from the big. Ball in. Clock. 3.2. Ryan drives. Ellis walls him, no angle. Blind pass back to David. Behind the arc. He catches. Feet set. Rises, the release pure. Arc high and true. The ball hangs. Suspended like their fate. The arena holding breath. Swish. Nothing but. Buzzer. Chaos. Teammates swarm. Lifting them high. Tears mixing with sweat. Confetti cannons erupt. Gold and blue raining like absolution. Ryan finds David in the pile. Kiss fierce amid the roar. No hiding. Cameras be damned. Post-game. Trophy heavy in Ryan's hands. Interviews blur. For the love, Ryan says. Arm around David. On and off. Dad's in the stands. Clapping slow. A nod across the gulf. But the real climax unfurls later. In the quiet aftermath. Back in Dayton. Parades and pep rallies fade. The high ebbing to everyday tides. Ryan's scholarship offer arrives. OSU. Full ride. David's NYU acceptance follows. Film program gleaming. The distance looms. A chasm wider than the quarry. One evening. Riverfront again. They face it. Long distance. Ryan asks. Voice small. David nods. If we fight for it. They do summer of part-time jobs. Bonfires with friends who get it. A road trip to the coast where Pacific meets sky. Sealing promises in salt air. Betrayals echo? Forgiven. Not forgotten. A scar that toughens. Fall arrives. Suitcases packed. Airport goodbye. Ryan's tears hot on David's neck. Unstoppable. Remember. David smiles. Boarding pass crumpled. Always. College hits like a freshman orientation fever dream. Campuses sprawling under autumn blaze, syllabi stacking like unanswered prayers. Ryan at Ohio State, swallowed by scarlet seas of tailgates and lecture halls in Columbus, just 90 minutes south but feeling like continents. David in New York. NYU's village bustle, a whirlwind of street vendors hawking falafel and graffiti artists tagging subway cars. The city a beast that devours the quiet boy from Dayton. Texts bridge the gap at first. Miss your laugh. Killed practice today. Heart emojis. Voice notes of Ryan's post-game rants. David's clips of Tish film shoots. Grainy shorts of anonymous lovers kissing in Washington Square Park. But distance is a thief. Pilfering moments. Amplifying silences. Ryan's schedule balloons early lifts. Film study till midnight. The Buckeye machine grinding individuality into team ethos. Frat parties tempt. Red solo cups and co-eds with easy smiles. But Ryan resists, loyal as a lanyard. Still, the pull tugs. A teammate's nudge. Loosen up. Cap, NYC boys got options too. Doubt creeps. A whisper in empty dorms. David fares better in the chaos. Tish a haven for misfits. Classmates with piercings and pronouns fluid as the Hudson. Professors preaching authenticity like gospel. He pours heartbreak into scripts. A short about two boys on a basketball court. Love arcing like free throws. Screens at a queer film fest. Applause thundering. But afterward, alone in his walk-up, the bed feels vast. Calls with Ryan stretch thin. How's the team? Good? Yeah. You? Static of unspoken fears. Thanksgiving yanks them back to Dayton. The prodigal reunion. Mom's table groans under turkey and fixings. Ryan's dad present but peripheral. Carving silent slices. Post-feast. They escape to the quarry. Frost rhyming the edges. Breaths clouding like confessions. Ryan pulls David close. Kiss hungry. Hands roaming under layers. Missed this. Missed you. David gasps into his neck. Show me. The truck rocks gentle. Familiar. Their bodies sinking like old plays. Ryan's mouth hot. David's nails raking backs. Climax shatters the quiet. Afterglow heavy with I love yous murmured into hair. They talk till dawn. Ryan's scout whispers for NBA G League. David's internship at a indie studio. We'll make it, Ryan vows. Fingers traced on David's palm. Christmas break deepens the bond. Ryan's house for game nights. Awkward but thawing with Tom's gruff good game. Kid after watching Buckeyes highlights. New Year's at Mom's. Countdown kisses under mylar balloons. Resolutions whispered. Stay us. Spring semester tests resolve. Ryan's a hookup at a party drunk. Meaningless. A freshman with beer breath and regret that sours like milk. He confesses over FaceTime. Face pixelated and pained. Stupid. Scared. Won't happen again. David's world fractures. Betrayals echo from high school roaring back. Scared of what? Me? Us? Tears streak. Voice raw. I trusted you. Ryan's plea cracks. I know. Come home. Please. David hangs up. Ghosts the next week. Radio silence a wall thicker than arena glass. Mom finds him on the fire escape. City lights blurring through wet eyes. Fly, baby. But don't forget your wings. He flies back for a weekend. Confrontation in Ryan's dorm. Posters of Jordan and LeBron peeling at edges. The air stale with takeout. Ryan's on his knees. Literally, I fucked up. But you're it. My everything. David's resolve wavers. Anger melting to ache. Prove it. He does months of transparency. Therapy sessions Ryan starts for his own shadows, the internalized crap from Dad's generation. David directs a docu short on queer athletes, featuring Ryan's interview, raw, unfiltered, hazel eyes steady on camera. It goes viral in niche circles. Shares from GLAAD, a quiet revolution. Summer reunites them fully, Ryan interning at a Columbus gym, David crashing on the couch. Their days a montage of runs along the Scioto, nights tangled in sheets. Sex reignites with forgiveness's fire slow, worshipful, Ryan's apologies etched in bites and bruises. Never again, he breathes, and David believes, because love in the heartland demands reinvention. Fall brings senior year, stakes soaring. Ryan's final Buckeye season. Captain again, Heisman whispers for the point guard who plays with poet's grace. David's thesis film wraps Court of Hearts, a feature weaving their story into fiction, premiering at Tribeca to teary standing O's. Critics call it a humanistic gut punch, the Village Voice hailing its Midwest soul, but climax circles like a storm front. NBA draft looms for Ryan, mock lotteries slotting him mid-first round, agents circling like vultures. David's post-grad offers, assistant editor gigs in LA, a fellowship in Berlin. Paths diverge, the map creasing under weight. The betrayal strikes insidious, not from without but within. Ryan's agent, slick as used car sales, advises image polish. Tone down the rainbow, kid. Sponsors spook easy. Teammates rib gentle. But pressure mounts, endorsement teases from Nike, contingent on clean narrative. One night, post-win against Michigan, the team celebrates at a Buckeye bar, foam and cheers thick. A reporter corners Ryan, dating the filmmaker, distraction or inspiration? Ryan freezes, old scripts replaying. Just friends now, slips out, a lie lubed by liquor and fear. It hits David via Twitter thread, screenshots spreading like flu. Caldwell closet case? He confronts over phone. Voice Arctic. Friends? After everything. Ryan's denial crumbles to sobs. Drafts tomorrow. Panicked. God. David. Panicked. David's laugh hollows. Like high school. History rhymes. Ha! He hangs up, blocks numbers, dives into work. A Berlin flight booked. Escape in 48 hours. Mom's airport send-off is tear-streaked. Call when you land. He'll fix it. Berlin's a bomb, cobblestones and currywurst. The fellowship a whirl of Euro queers and art house screenings. David thrives, directing a short on divided loves. The wall's ghosts mirroring his. Months blur. Emails from Ryan unanswered. Care packages returned unopened. Draft night. David watches from a hostel bar. Fernsa screens flickering. Ryan's name flashes. 15th to the Knicks. Elation twisted with isolation. Post-lottery interview. Ryan's voice breaks. Dedicate this to someone who taught me courage. David Wallace, I'm sorry. Come back. The clip goes viral. NBA Twitter ablaze. David lands in JFK 2 days later. Mom's car idling curbside. Go get your boy. Ryan's at the airport. Billboard-sized jersey fresh. Eyes haunted. No words at first, just embrace. Crushing. Ryan's face buried in David's curls. I quit the agent. Told the team everything. No more hiding. David pulls back. Searching. Why now? Because losing you? That's the real draft drop. Kiss salty. Public, passers-by whoop. Cabbie honks approval. Rebuilds messy. Ryan's rookie year a grind of G League shuttles and bench time. David editing indie flicks from a Brooklyn loft they share. Rent split on ramen budgets. Conflicts flare. Ryan's late nights at the Garden. David's jealousy over locker room bonds. Therapy couples sessions. Dr. Lena's office a neutral court where they unpack betrayals like game film. One storm peaks mid-season. Ryan's first start. Triple-double magic. But post-game. A tabloid sting. Fake honey trap. Photos twisted. David storms out. Crashing at mom's in Dayton. Ryan follows. Pounding the door till neighbors peek. Fight with me. Not against. Please. Porch confessional. Under moth-lampied bulb. I broke us before. Won't again. David's walls tumble. Then don't. Humanistic threads weave back. Ryan mentors queer youth at NYC rec centers. David's films fundraised for Heartland flags. Tom's visit to a Knicks game halftime hug. Gruff proud. Son. Mom's wedding shower for them years later. Under Dayton Oaks. Years fold like well-worn jerseys. Time's relentless full-court press turning boys to men. Ryan's NBA arc peaks then plateaus. A solid starter for the Knicks. All defense nods but no ring. The league's glamour a grind of ice baths and infrared saunas. Injuries nibble edges. A tweaked ankle in playoffs. MRI's cold hum echoing old gym whistles. Off-season. He coaches clinics in Dayton. His foundation, Caldwell Courtside Courage. Building hoops in underserved hoods. Rainbows etched subtle on backboards. David's path unfurls cinematic. From editor's bay to director's chair. His feature debut Hoop Dreams deferred nabbing Sundance jury prize. A mosaic of queer athletes' untold sagas. Hollywood beckons, LA offers. But he roots in Brooklyn. A brownstone with exposed brick and a corner office overlooking the East River. Their life sinks in rhythms. Ryan's games synced to David's festival hops. Date nights at Carmine's for endless pasta. Fights over takeout Thai when exhaustion bites. The final conflict simmers slow. A veteran seasons where. Ryan at 28. Body betraying with chronic knee twinges. Faces retirement's shadow. Analysts murmuring journeyman. Not legend. A trade rumor to LA stirs the pot. Sunshine and super teams. But uprooting from the city that's home. David. Knee-deep in a script about fractured legacies. Resists. Brooklyn's us. Don't chase ghosts. Ryan paces their loft. Skyline glittering indifferent. It's the ring. David. The one thing unfinished. David's retort sharp. Like us? Always one more play. The row escalates, dishes clatter. Voices echo off high ceilings. Ryan storms to the guest room. Door slamming like a fast break foul. David sleeps alone. Sheets cold. Regret pooling like sweat. Dawn mediation. Coffee brewing truce. Ryan's apology handwritten on Knicks stationery. You're right. Legacy's not hardware. It's you, the kids we coach, the stories you tell. David folds into him. Forgiveness a familiar rebound. Together, then. Retirement announcement hits summer league. Presser packed with vets and scribes. Ryan's words steady. Grateful for the run. But family's the real MVP. Arm around David. Rings glinting, not championship gold. But twin bands from a quiet ceremony in Central Park. Mom officiating with vows borrowed from when Harry met Sally. Post-hoops. Ryan pivots seamless. Analyst gig at ESPN. His drawl dissecting plays with insider's eye. Foundation expands. Courts sprouting in Seattle. Nods to David's roots. They foster. First a teen from Ohio foster care. Jamal. all gangly limbs and guarded grins, who finds home on their backyard hoop. Like you too, he says one dusk, sinking a fadeaway. Ryan ruffles his hair. Unstoppable, kid. David's career crescendos. An Oscar nod for echoes on the court, a biopic weaving their tale into broader tapestry, premiering to tears and toasts. After party, Ryan in tux, still broad-shouldered, silver threading temples, whispers, proud doesn't cover it. Ages 35. They return to Dayton for a Lincoln High reunion, the gym unchanged but faces softened by time. Coach Harlan, friendlier but fierce, toasts them, broke barriers, built bridges. Old teammates clap. Tyler's there, sober a decade. Amends in a quiet handshake. Sorry, man. Grew up late. The court's waxed gleam pulls them. Impromptu ones, knees creaking but spirits soaring. David drives. Ryan posts, score tied at 10. Crowd whooping from bleachers. Final possession. David's hesitation dribble. Step back 3. Swish. Victory lap. Arms raised. The echo of that first gym moment 30 years prior. Life's humanistic close unfolds gentle. No grand tragedy but the quiet profundity of endurance. Mom passes at 72. Pancreatic shadow stealing swift. Her service a potluck of nurses and neighbors. Eulogy David's. Words from her favorite Springsteen Thunder Road. The promise of open highways. Ryan holds him after. Under willow trees. She saw us first. Jamal thrives, college scholarship. His own coming out met with their fierce rap. Grandkids come later. Via surrogacy. A girl with Ryan's hazel eyes. A boy with David's curls. Toddling on mini hoops in the brownstone yard. Old age graces them silver. 60s in a Hudson Valley cabin. Mornings of coffee on Adirondacks. Evenings of Ryan's podcasts and David's memoirs. Knees ache, but walks along the rail trail men's spirits. Hands linked as ever. One autumn eve. Leaves carpeting like confetti. Ryan turns from the wood stove. Voice thick. Best play I ever ran was choosing you. David smiles. Lines crinkling. Unstoppable duo. The end whispers soft, no dramatic fade. But a shared breath in the night. Legacies etched not in rings or reels, but in the hearts they mended, the courts they claimed. In America's vast, flawed canvas, their story arcs true. Love as the ultimate game winner. Betrayal just a missed shot in the long run.